In today's video, I bring to you a case study with Joe Sullivan, the powerlifter. In the last 4 years, I've helped him take his brand from 90,000 followers to over 150,000 followers, while also raising his monthly income from 10K per month to over 35K per month. Now, this case study is very special to me because he's been a client with me for over 4 years. And you'll notice, while my friend loves to ramble at times, the biggest growth beyond his revenue and follower count has truly been his mindset. And that's what he shares with you all as his biggest asset with working with me. Joe grew his account for over a decade to 90,000 as a celebrity athlete within powerlifting, and transitioning his audience from just spectators to actual buyers for his business. It was quite the transition, which took us 4 years to successfully do while keeping everything completely organic and no paid ads. So without further ado, I now present to you Joe Sullivan, the powerlifter, who's going to share the incredible mindset transformation he has worked alongside me for all of these years. So Joe, take it away, brother. In today's video, I have a special guest, the handsome Squidward, Joe Sullivan. Still handsome.
Thanks.
So I've been working with Joe for 4 years. This motherfucker has been paying me for 4 years. That's a long lifetime value. That's a great lifetime value. Joseph, tell everyone why you've been paying me for 4 years straight. I'm just draining your bank account.
Just part of the monthly bills, but no, it's because it works. It's because I have received a hell of a lot of value from the relationship that you and I have, not just from the content that we've created together, but just the perspective that you've offered me and a lot of the shifting of mindset when it comes to owning my own business and thinking about like future oriented things in regards to the business that I have. A lot of professionals in my space, when it comes to being fitness coaches, really tend to think about the here and now and just how can I serve the clients that I have better? How can I do what I can in this moment to be a good coach? But not a lot of people consider, how can I become a better coach? How can I continue to not only provide that value to the people that I have now, but increase the size, the magnitude of the impact, and how much I can offer to the world, and thereby increase my own revenue and positive outcome from the impact, but also the financial aspect that helps me provide for my family. And it's like, I don't know where else I would get that. So that's why I'm sticking around, bro.
So to make sure everyone knows that I'm not a grifter.
You still scam. It's the same. I'm a scammer too, dude.
At least I'm scamming people with my Crocs.
Same.
Tie-dye Crocs, right?
The internet tells us a lot of things about ourselves.
Exactly. So let's take people back to memory lane, because I remember I met you before I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because you gave me your contact then, and I was like, I didn't even know I was even moving here. Mm-hmm. And then randomly I don't know how we met after that.
I have no idea.
I don't remember
no
either.
idea, honestly.
Yeah. I just remember.
It was just at the gym, I think.
I think.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing you before I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved here. And then the next vision I have is just like when you came over and you like filmed a bunch of shit in my black my black room. That sounds really creepy. But sounds really creepy.
No, but that's honestly the same here, because I know that you had your long hair. You had that long ass hair, and I was deadlifting. And I remember I was like talking to you, and I'm like, video guy. Yeah, what's up, dude? I don't know. And let's
make sure that these people don't think I offer that anymore.
No.
Well, I'm retired.
No, I was spoiled. But yeah, no, I know that we spoke, and then just kind of, I have to feel like we had a conversation on like Instagram or something, and it was just like, all right, let's do it. I don't know. I'm not hard to convince, boys and girls, obviously. I talked to you, and it was just like, hey, I think this is, I had those thoughts back in the day, because we've been working together and like known one another for 4 years now. It was right around that time, like 4 or 5 years ago, where I was in that perpetual cycle of, I have a lot of clients, I'm very busy, but I have no system behind me to fulfill what I'm doing with those clientele, and at the same time think about any new clientele. So like, even if I did get a new client, it's like, I don't know where they came from. I don't know what I'm doing is working. I'm just posting my lifting. I'm just being an athlete and being like, hey, I also coach.
Yep.
You know, and just even back then I was like thinking, I have to, I'm not just the athlete, I'm the coach. I have to do this in a different way. And that was what spurred on those conversations.
Right, because I remember, like, we started out, because this is back before I became the clown that I am today. Helping you make better content that indirectly just got people to take you even further serious because you were just an athlete, technically, which is what got you to your first like 90,000 followers. But then you were stuck. And then you never could even just hit that 100. And then from there, you were doing a disservice to yourself because you should have been making way more money. But you didn't, obviously, like how you mentioned about those systems, that slowly started to circumvent themselves because you started posting the content that we started creating together. And that on its own scaled your business from like what, 10K a month to then you hit 35K. Unless you're gatekeeping more from me still.
No, just I'm at 35 right now. But but even beyond that, like we just did some stuff and like worked on some content and some ideas. It's going even further beyond that because like I have, even at that point, I had this identity as the athlete of like all of these all-time world records, all of this clout when it comes to me being the guy. But behind that, I also have 2 degrees in relevant fields of exercise science and exercise physiology. And I have a great deal of education, experience, and everything else that I was able to help individuals with, but I never really presented it on a wider scale to say, hey, this is the value that I provide through this service that I offer. And even now I'm at that number per month, but I'm having these productive conversations and have some things in the works that I can definitely think that it will go further beyond that, just from that perspective of how can I reframe the mindset or readjust the mindset and continue to provide that value in a way that stays true to myself, but also in a way that's going to be even more fruitful from a financial perspective.
Right. And so let's kind of like go back to that journey. So you got to like 90,000 followers because you're an animal on the platform. But then your coaching business was stuck at that 10K a month. Once I came on, you now finally started showing yourself as the educator that you always were, that was being unfortunately sheltered because you only knew how to like post your athletic stuff, right? And so that alone was like allowing you, from what I remember, it scaled you to like what, 15K? But obviously there were still like those issues, right? Of like doubling it because you didn't have a sales team. You didn't know how to even sell it to begin with on your own. And the other thing is, the biggest thing is like, when are we getting you past 100K followers? Because you were still stuck at that 90, right?
Yeah. And because that was years. I was there for like, I don't know how many years, but like more than 2. Yeah.
And so like, once we started working together and you finally started coming around of like, yeah, it's time to be fully Joe Sullivan educator, then powerlifter, that's when you started seeing that number creep up. But the followers, they always go up and down, right? So you were slowly gaining more clientele potential prospects. And so over the 4 years, you finally now have gone from that 10K to 35K organically without ads. It's now realized for yourself you want more with your personal brand, right? So can you explain about like how working with me has kind of given you that confidence?
I don't even know. That's where it's like, I don't even know that I would say confidence, because I've never lacked in confidence, but it's like the realization that there's just as much validity in like my identity as an educator as there was in an athlete, because I was the athlete for 20 years, like for 18 years, but damn near 20 years. And I I built my entire identity and my entire like social presence around that. And even though, because I went from like 90K followers to like 150,000 followers, and it's not even one of those like, oh, I've got 1 million and it's all these people now, but it has completely shifted my identity from, oh, it's Joe Sullivan, powerlifter, the athlete, to now it's Joe Sullivan, the educator, Joe Sullivan, the performance coach. That shift has not only allowed me to come into a better identity for myself, but it allows me to better provide help and value and impact to every aspect of the community that I care about. Like, I don't think I would have had an easier, I don't think that I would have had an easy time, or I even would have been able to realize that had I not had these conversations with you and shifted the approach to social media in general.
Right. And like, I'm curious, like how you would explain it to anyone watching, because anyone probably might see the thumbnail or even hear us and be like, you worked with this guy for 4 years and it took him that long to only get you to 150,000 followers and only from 10K to 35K. What the fuck? Can you explain like the nuances of like your journey in particular to like, say like Cass or Xavier? Because I'm sure everyone might be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I understand. And that's something that I've had to like, not that I have to like justify it to myself, but it's always been, because I've always approached social media, because I got a lot of clout fast. I got a lot of social credit very quickly because I created my Instagram account in 2011, and I basically had my first pro powerlifting meet win in 2017. And I was in my early 20s and being like a kid who's like, oh, I got all these people looking at me like, hell yeah, I'm the big dude. Like, this is awesome. But it's going from the biggest change. And even though it's like, oh, it's been only this much over this 4 years, but I've always tried to approach social media being as genuine and as authentic and as much as me as I can be. And all of the clientele, I've done that even with the way that I've scaled my business and the way that I've oriented my own success, because I've had a lot of opportunities to bring on assistant coaching staff, to bring on other ways to increase my own revenue per month. But I've always tried to check myself, because I would personally, and this might be different from other people, but personally, I would rather be making $35,000 or around whatever the number is there per month with as little overhead as possible. And at the same time, because there's so little overhead, I have as much creative control as I can imagine. And beyond the creative control, I can pour my heart into the people that I work with, because I am not an influencer. Part of my identity is a public figure on social media, so there is an aspect of influence there, but I'm a coach. I love working with people. I love educating people. The interpersonal relationships that I can develop are always going to be priority number one for me. And I've realized that goes hand in hand with how big your business, how effective your business can be. But it's just, if someone were to criticize me or the work that I've done with you and be like, well, it's only 35K, it's only increased followers by like 60,000. And I'm like, and I probably know more of those people by name and had a specific conversation with more of those people than these other folks that might have, 0 to 1 million or 0 to however many 100,000. And they might make more money sometimes, but I'm not in this to make more money. I'm in this to change lives. And that's my bottom line. If I make more money in the long run by coming up with some other creative stuff we were talking about, hell yeah. But the priority is that positive impact, because you and me and you and everybody, we're all going to die one day. And I want to make as much money as I can. I want to support my family. But the biggest thing for me is being able to die one day and say, hey, I changed a lot of lives and I left a lot of positive impacts out there. And doing it in this manner has allowed me to treat both of those perspectives with as much priority as they deserve.
Exactly. Like the biggest thing with why I'm so against ads is like the similar thing of like how you realize lifetime value of a customer. So while everyone else is like making 30, 40, 50K a month, your profit margins are all 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I actually did a consultation call with another coach a while back, and he's at the beginning of his journey, and he was like, I had like a $22,000 month, and I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. He's like, but I poured like $15,000 into my business, and I'm like, you made like $6,000, like you or whatever that is. It's like you could do that fucking driving DoorDash, bro. Like
more actually,
probably. And it's just it's perspective, you know.
Yeah, I feel like everyone like tries to jump for like 100K a month, $1 million a month nowadays, but they're not looking at profits, and that's what you recognize with how to capitalize on your personal brand with the organic, rather than, oh, we can just run ads because I'm Joe Sullivan.
Right.
Yeah, we can make yours more have longevity.
And that's the key word I would say I would focus on, or I would tell anybody to consider when they're making decisions in this space. It's like, what are you doing how are you looking at this? Are you looking at this as a career? If you're looking at it as a career, try to think about this perspective a little bit more. If you're looking at it as a quick cash turnaround thing where you can run real hot, make a bunch of money, and then get out, maybe go with one of the guys who's going to run a bunch of ads for you and whatnot. But also, I would tell you straight to your face, like, stay the hell out of my industry, because I don't like dudes like that. But it's about looking at it from that long-term investment, that long-term value add, and what do you envision? Like, what do you consider your vocation?
So I'm sure everyone's probably a little confused. They probably love the context, but they're probably confused of like, so why or how did it take the 4-year timeline with us to get you to that position?
If in terms of like bottleneck or like obstacle, a lot of that would have to do with, because think about what I said. I started my Instagram in 2011, and like 4 years ago is 2022. Like, so it started in 2022. 2011 to 2021, that's a decade. That's a decade of me being Joe Sullivan powerlifter. I'm the athlete. Even though I have more followers now, I feel like there's a difference between viewers and followers, or like engaged followers and just observers. And switching that identity, and not only the identity within myself, but also the identity that I am portrayed as online, that was something that it took some time, and it took some momentum to switch from being like, oh, everybody's expecting to see Joe squat a heavy weight or bend a barbell around his back or whatever. Where are those videos? And now it's me talking, it's me presenting ideas, and I'm good at it. I've gotten very good at it, but it takes some time for that identity to shift. And I say it perpetually, but it's been true every year that we've worked together. Every single year, it's been more and more and more, and it's done so in an exponential fashion. So I have no reason why I would assume it's not going to continue to do so, you know, especially as I come even more into my own as Joe the educator, Joe the influencer, Joe not just the athlete, but Joe the guy who's providing value through his ideas and thoughts and ability to speak, not just what he's doing.
So like, since you've technically been like the godfather of Instagram, what can you say to people just getting started? Like that guy who only netted 6K, like, what's kind of like the nuance of social media working with me that allowed you to be like, damn, this was easier than I thought?
We talked about it off camera when we were having conversations just over here at the table. Stay authentic to yourself, because we all have access to AI. We all have AI tools. You can type in a prompt, get a script, and just rattle off some stuff online and probably have some videos do decent, and you put zero effort in from your own perspective and from your own like personal contribution. But I've always found that even if it is slower to get going sometimes, it lasts much longer and it's more worthwhile because it has a bigger magnitude of impact if you stay true to yourself. And part of staying true to yourself is realizing that there's a game to be played on social media. There is an algorithm. There is stuff to consider when it comes to decisions like that. But at the same time, take the pieces of what makes you you and what makes your experience, and put that into everything that you create. Look at the most successful creators out there. Everyone follows someone, not just because they provide value or they do something that benefits them. There's a lot of following people because I just like that guy. I like that girl. That resonates with me. That speaks to me. Figure out that you have a voice worth sharing your own opinion, your own perspective, your own experience, and then put that into all of the value that you create and add and do with someone like Ayush. If you can do that and do that for a long period of time, there's no way that you're not successful.
Why do you feel like a lot of people like hire a business coach and get nowhere? And then you hired a content coach and were able to be profitably successful?
Because I think a lot of it's like, how candid can I get with this one? Because I think a lot of the business coaches, even the ones that are very successful, it is more due to the volume of the pool that they're drawing from, because there's a lot of people. Some of them might even be watching this video that are just interested in this because they want to make money. They hear that there's a bunch of money to be made on social media. And there absolutely is. I never had an easy go or a successful run working a 9-to-5. It's not for me. I had to figure something else out. But this isn't just my industry, and the people that I care about that make up that community are not just a cash cow for people to use. And a lot of the business coaches have the perspective of just wanting to drive the sales, just wanting to capture the sale, just wanting to capture the money, and don't think about what that is actually going to do or what it could do in either a positive or a negative way to the individual that they're speaking with. Whereas every conversation that you and I have had, the business is there. The monetary gain is gonna be there because the people and the person and the perspective are prioritized. And if you put that first, you're gonna win. You might have to figure out some stuff along the way, figure out some systems, figure out some logistical stuff. But if you understand, it's always gonna come down to people first and providing that service first. You don't need a business coach to tell you that. You need a moral compass. And I could, but somebody can't teach you that. It's something that you have to understand and begin to learn for yourself. But once you do, and once it actually starts to make sense for you and you realize you can do that with the service you're providing, you find a content coach and it hits.
Yeah, so like when it comes to a content coach, and me specific, what were like the 5 main things that like I had to extrapolate from you?
One being similar to what we talked about earlier, not everyone, like no one is going to know this is what you want to do or what you are unless you figure out a way to tell them that or show them that. There are a lot of coaches online, or a lot of people run a lot of businesses online that aren't very good at simply talking about their business. And that was one of the biggest hurdles on the front end that I had to understand and kind of like get through. And that was something that you and I worked on together. In addition to that, understanding that like there is a game to be played on social media, not as in like, oh, you have to post at this certain time or like jump through these certain hoops, but understand and consider like how we all consume social media. I'm not just going to sit through a boring video. So it's like, oh, I need to post more content. Understand that you're speaking to people's attention spans. You're playing the game a little bit. You have to do so if your end goal is positive impact. It's like, yeah, again, it's like, yeah, we want to make money, but it's also about leaving and having a lasting positive impact. You have to understand that like you're fighting a battle with Instagram or with social media whenever you approach that. And then in conjunction with that, number 3 would be like the prospect of selling. When I started doing this, I was a coach who I never really sold anything. It's like people would just be like, hey, you coach people, let me give you money. And I'm like, cool, great. I had the clout, I had the athletics. People were just like, oh, I want to do that. And it's like made my life super easy. But that bled into the perspective of me being like, I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to be this guy who's like trying to sell my service. But in the position that we're in, I've had to do a lot of reframing where it's reconsidering about when you're selling. It's not just about selling to make the sale. It's about selling to change the life, because you believe in the value that you're providing and you believe in everything that you can do for the people that you're talking to. So that's why it's okay or acceptable, or like it can feel good to actually sell, and leaning into that. Number 4 would be reconsidering what my normal comfort level on social media is, where I would look at it as what I'm doing is good enough. And this is still even something that I still hurdle with, or I still have to reframe and work at, because it's an ongoing endeavor. But I would previously think, okay, I'm gonna post content, I'm gonna create these conversations, I'm gonna do all this stuff, but I would do it lazily, I would do it haphazardly. It would be like, okay, this is good enough. And having someone like Ayush, where I would like, I still remember like times where you would text me and be like, you're rambling again. Like you're doing this, like stop doing that. It's like having the level of accountability to not only, because I half of my job as a coach is holding people accountable. As that type of coach, you don't think about someone like, it's hard to frame the perspective sometimes for a lot of people about thinking about accountability falling on yourself. You think about a content coach and you're like, yeah, I get them. And then we film some videos and they make content. And it's like, okay, sure. But with this arrangement, it's more of a reframing of the entire perspective and the approach to the situation, and being like, hey, yeah, we do that. But I'm also going to take it upon myself, like yourself, to hold you to a higher standard, not from the perspective of like, oh, it just needs to look better, but because the better you can make this, the more opportunity you're going to have to help more people and make more money. And I don't know where else I would get that.
I'm challenging you.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. Because it's like the accountability thing. And number 5 would be understanding that a lot of the apprehension that I had in shifting that identity from athlete to educator to business owner, it was because from my perspective, it was always, and not even in a negative connotation, it was a prideful thing. It was something to be proud of. It was like, no, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys on social media. I'm not just gonna be the coach that's like, DM me, DM me, DM me. And I always looked at that, or had previously looked at it as something to be proud of. But me like speaking to you and like it's so much of the conversation is where the value is. But it was the reframe, or not the reframe, but like the re-understanding or the new understanding that it wasn't like something to be proud of. It was just another form of ego, where it's like I built myself up as this version of me, or this like idealized, not even idealized, but it's like, this is what I was, and that's all I'm ever gonna be. And it's all I was ever meant to be. And it kind of like locks you in a box that's like safer there, because there's no risk of being judged or failing, or even getting rejected. Like hitting up, like asking someone like, hey, do you want me to coach you? Hey, do you want to get on a call? Hey, do you want to do this? It's like, I didn't have to be afraid of that rejection or that judgment or that like internalized shame, because I wasn't doing it. But then talking to you and figuring out that like that wasn't this some altruistic, moralistic perspective where it's like, I'm better than somebody else because I'm choosing not to do this. It was ultimately me just protecting myself and not willingly like diving into something that could not only improve my position and my life and my family's position, but also help someone else. Because I know I'm a good coach. I know I care about my people. And it's like, if me being more forward oriented when it comes to that, and through the conversations that I create through the content, if that allows me to serve more people, why would I be afraid of that? You know, and that I don't know. I honestly don't know that I would have had a lot of these realizations at the rate that I did, at the period that I did, or whatever, had I not talked to you about this stuff.
Wow, I feel like I'm like Gandhi.
It's just, I'll get too many racist jokes. Can't do that on camera. It's the X-rated special of that.
Then all that to being said, wow. I mean, that's a great growth, right? So to end this off, what would you tell someone that's like on the fence of working with me?
Well, I've like, dude, honestly, like I talked to, well, it's funny because I coach 2 of his clients too. because they're my homies, but they made the jump after they saw how effective it was over here. And like just speaking to them, I said the same thing. It's like, it's different. It's going to challenge you, but anything worthwhile is going to challenge you. It's like any time that you come to a crossroads and you feel like, hey, I can do more, I should do more, I want to do more, it's not just going to be a matter of, well, all right, I'm going to pay this guy this much money and then it's automatically going to happen. It's the same perspective of like, I have someone come pay me a year in full, and if they don't do anything, okay, you just donated money to me. It's like, you have to do the work. It's the same thing here. You have to do the work, but Ayush is very good at making you understand why that work is worthwhile and how effective the work can be if you just take the right steps to make it happen. Because I told Jessica that, I told Brandon that. It's like both of them, when they were thinking about it, it's an investment, but anything worthwhile is an investment. And this is a specific instance where if you make that investment and you work really hard, just like a coaching relationship or a transformation contest, if you put the work in and you follow the plan, you will see the results. And in these results, it's like that's a monetary turnaround. So the investment it's not an issue if you're ready and willing and okay with doing the work. And then that's on the person.
That was a good ending.
Yeah. Woo.
Appreciate it. That was a good ending.
Bangers.